गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are seeing this book Viveka Chudamani. We have come up to the shloka number 266. That is Buddhau Guhayam Sadasadvilakshanam Brahmasti Satyam Paramadvitiyam. So Shankaracharya was talking about what was called Brahmanusandhanam. Brahmanusandhanam is, that is meditation on the point that whatever instruction has been given, that Tattvamasi, you are that. So meditation on that, that is Aham Brahmasmi. Anusandhanam is applying to oneself. So he was talking about that. Earlier he dismissed all these koshas, pancha koshas and all that, and then he talked about this Brahmanusandhanam. And for that Brahmanusandhanam, what are the obstacles? There are certain obstacles for that. That is what is called vasana. So this vasana kshayam, or rather vasana tyagam. So that is what is the point now which has to be discussed, which is being now discussed. So now we have to start this shloka number 267. According to this, as per this Ramakrishna edition, 268 maybe according to Sringeri edition. The shloka, I will read the shloka. ज्ञाते वस्तुन्यपि बलवती वासनानादिरेषा कर्ता भोक्ता हमिति दृढायास्य संसारहेतुः प्रत्यग्दृष्ट्यात्मनि निवसता सापनेया प्रयत्नात् मुक्तिं प्राहुस्तदिह मुनयो वासनातानवं यत्. So he is talking about, if you see the last line, Muktim prahuhu tad iha munayah vasana tanavam yat. Vasana tanavam. Tanavam, that is thinning down. Tanu means thin. That is vasana tanavam, thinning down. That is not exactly thinning down, it is total eradication. That is what is meant. Total eradication of all these vasanas. So that is what is needed. So what are these vasanas? Vasanas, we know that they are the impressions which are there in our mind because of our own past actions and because of the past action, because of the actions in the previous janmas. So this is with reference to an individual. For example, whatever I have done right from my childhood, all good, bad and various types of experiences, they have certain indelible, they have etched some impressions on the mind. And they actually influence my future behavior. Whatever I do now, it is influenced by my vasanas, my past vasanas. And even the past janma vasana also will be there. So these are at the level of individual. In addition to that, there is some amount of social conditioning also. This social conditioning is, I belong to a particular caste, I belong to a particular religion, I have got certain, the religion or society has certain expectations on me, I have to behave in a particular way, I love what my friends love, I have to love what my friends love or what my community loves, I have to dislike or hate what my community hates or dislikes. So these are certain expectations of behavior. And all these things, they are all there as vasanas in my mind. For example, if I belong to a particular religion and if my religion hates all other religions, I am also supposed to do that. So these are the vasanas at the individual level and maybe at a collective level, at the level of society also. So that is what it is. So these are the vasanas. And so long as a man is saddled with so many vasanas, he cannot know truth. He cannot apply that formula to himself, that Tattvamasi the teacher says, and this man has to take it as Aham Brahmasmi. And then you are asked to do Anusandhanam. How can you visualize yourself as Brahma when you are hating all the people around? So Brahman is something in which is above all these gunas. This is all the gunas, what we call guna, the prakriti sambhavaha, sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha. So these sattva rajastama gunas, they influence all of us. And then these are the products of Prakriti or Maya, and Brahman is something which is beyond that Maya. And then unless we reach that state, unless we reach that state of Gunatita, unless we remove all the vasanas, all the say so-called dirt from our mind, we can't equate ourselves with that. So it is like behaving like a king. If you to be a king, for example, if you want to be a king, first of all you should know the behavior of a king. If you want to be an officer, there are what are called officer-like qualities. So you have to practice what are called OLQ, that is officer-like qualities. So if you are, for example, selected as an officer, say for example, we have got various levels, class 1 officer, class 2 officer, etc., etc. So if you are selected as a high-level officer, you are sent to some officers training college where they first teach you what are called OLQ, that is officer-like qualities. So like that, there you have to get out, you have to get rid of all our village habits. So in our village, for example, I have got certain way of eating. I am eating in a very, very clumsy manner. There I am supposed to, I am taught how to eat with the help of a knife and fork. Fork. Knife and fork is there, and then with the help of all that say cutlery, I am supposed to eat. So these are the qualities. In addition to that, how exactly do you address a person? What should we say when you meet a new person? So all these things are the behavioral patterns which are taught to a person. So only then you are called an officer. So similarly, here also a person who is having so much of dirt in his mind, all this love, hate, etc., all these things, which are the product of these three gunas, all those things have to be eradicated. And all these things has accumulated over a period of time. These vasanas, they have accumulated over a period of time in this life and in the previous lives. And also it is something which is reinforced by the social conditioning. So all these things are there. All these things have to be eradicated. So that is what he says. Jnate vastunyapi balavati vasananadiresha. Esha vasana anadihi esha. This is the division. Jnate vastuni api. Vastuni jnate api. Vastu, here Vastu is the Brahma. Was Brahman. Vastuni jnate sati. Jnate api. Though at an intellectual level you are aware of what exactly is Brahman. So you have done a lot of Shravanam, and with the help of that Shravanam you are able to say, you are able to theoretically agree, yes, there is something like Tattvamasi seems to be true. I think this Aham Brahmasmi also seems to be true, something like that. You are aware of it. So even then, Jnate, Vastuni Jnate api, even then, Balavati Vasana, Anadihi, Yesha Vasana, this particular Vasana, this thing, this lasting impression which is there in the mind, so much has been, say, it is something which is stuck to the mind. And then this is so Balavati, quite strong. Vasana Anadihi, Anadihi, it is something which is Anadi, because the Janma itself is Anadi. Srushti is Anadi and the Janma is Anadi. And this continues till realization, till a person attains realization. It is this ends only when a person attains realization. So that means it has been Anadi. Maybe in this Kalpa, there are so many other previous Kalpas also, hundreds and hundreds of Kalpas. So like that it goes on and on and on. There is no, say, point of, say, beginning. There is no beginning point for that Anadi. So it goes on and on. So this is the Anadi Vasana. And what is that? That is the identification with the body-mind complex and having a notion that I am the Karta, I am the Bhokta. Karta, Bhokta, Pyahamiti. Drudha, ya Vasana, ya connects to Yesha, Yesha, that which is like this. Ya Yesha Vasana Anadihi Vartate. So that one, that is giving rise to the opinion or notion that I am the Karta, I am the Bhokta. That identification with the body-mind complex, it is going on like that. So you may theoretically know that something is good, something is bad, etc. For example, one statement, one sloka is there which is said to have been told by Duryodhana. Duryodhana seems to have told, Janami dharmam nachame, janami adharmam, janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. I know what is dharma, but I can't follow that path. Janami adharmam, I know what is adharma, Nachame nivrutti. There is no nivrutti from that adharma. So this sentence is attributed to Duryodhana. I don't exactly know the context, but this is said to have been told by Duryodhana. So like that, though you are theoretically aware, you means not you, we, let us say, though we are theoretically aware of the plausibility of that statement called Aham Brahmasmi, etc., still this Anadi Vasana is so strong that it is rubbing that idea onto us. It is rubbing that idea that I am the Karta, I am the Bhokta, etc. Ahamiti Drudha Ya Asya Samsara Hetuhu. Ultimately, this Vasana is the cause for this Samsara. So this Vasana, once it goes, then the Samsara ends. The Samsara ends because then he will be able to clearly see that, clearly apply that statement to himself, that Aham Brahmasmi, he will be able to apply that to himself. Then Pratyak Drushtya Atmani Nivasata Sa Apaneya Prayatnat. Sa Vasana Prayatnat Apaneya. That particular Vasana, that particular indelible, not indelible, that had very strongly etched impression which is there on the mind, that has to be prayatnat, with great effort, apaneya, it has to be eradicated, it has to be removed. By whom? Pratyak drushtya atmani nivasata. Nivasan is the word, nivasata is tritiya vibhakti. Nivasata, by the one, by the person who is living like that. Living like what? Pratyak drushtya atmani nivasata. So that is by the person who is abiding in that pratyak drushti. By a person, that is by the sadhaka, who has theoretically attained that particular drushti, pratyak drushti. So that person who has theoretically attained that abheda jnana. So he has attained that abheda jnana. Abheda jnana is the word used by our Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami, he gives the meaning as for the word pratyak drushti, he gives the meaning abheda jnana. That is the understanding that his self is not different from the Supreme Self. He is essentially of the same nature as that of the Supreme Self. So that is that understanding he has. So he has to abide in that, say very strongly. He has to abide in that. So, and by that, and with that idea, and with that firmness, with that firmly abiding in that particular idea, he has to, with great effort, he has to eradicate that particular vasana. And that is called mukti. Tam muktim prahuhu. Muktim prahuhu tad muktim prahuhu. That is what is called mukti. Munayaha. Munayaha means mananasilinaha. Mananasilaha means the people who know, wise men, wise people, they say that is what is mukti. What? Vasana tanavam yet. Vasana tanavam. That is thinning down or eradication of these vasanas. And we know that I have also told earlier also about Vidyaranya. Sage Vidyaranya has written a very famous book called Jivan Mukti Viveka. There he has elaborated these ideas. What Shankaracharya has told here, he has elaborated these ideas. And then he has actually given a very big chapter on Mano Nasha. And another chapter called Vasana Kshaya. Vasana Kshaya is the first chapter. And first chapter means it comes early, it comes first. And then thereafter the other chapter called Mano Nasha comes. Vasana Kshaya, that is total eradication of these vasanas. And Mano Nasha, annihilation of the mind. And do they not look similar? Of course they do look similar, but there is a slight difference. Vasana Kshaya is the impressions which are there already. Mano Nasha means no fresh induction. No fresh induction. So this Vasana Kshaya has to be deliberately cultivated by Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Vasana Kshaya has to be reinforced. It has to be helped by this Shravana, Manana. Then this Mano Nasha has to be consciously cultivated by yoga, practice of yoga. The Chitta Vritti Nirodha, etc. All that, that Atma Sanyama Yoga which we see in the Gita, 6th chapter of Gita. So by following the practices of yoga, one has to attain that Mano Nasha. So this is what Vidyaranya elaborately explains in that book. So here, now in the next shloka, Shankaracharya is talking about what is called adhyasa, that how we have to get rid of this adhyasa. Aham mameti yo bhavo dehakshadavanatmani Adhyasoyam nirastavyo vidushā svatmanishthaya. Aham mameti yo bhavaha. The idea that I and me, I and mine, aham, I, mama is mine, that is that bhava. In what? Anatmani, in this non-self. And what is this non-self? In this deha and aksha. Aksha is indriya. Aksha is indriya. Dehakshadau, deha aksha adau, anatmani. Dehakshadau, anatmani. In this deha, aksha, adi, in these things, what are they? They are anatma. For this we have to again go back to, say, Drugdrushya Viveka or Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So Gita, we have seen that what is this knower and known, that division we have seen. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. That sharira, what all can be distinguished by you as not yourself. In that category, even the body-mind complex comes. The body-mind complex, you can observe it as a witness. Even for the mind, even for all these chitta vrittis which come as a stream. Chitta vrittis, they come as a stream. And for this stream of, say, thoughts, stream of consciousness, as we can say. So for this, the I, that pure I, which is pure consciousness, is the illumining factor, or it is the illumining, that is the illuminer for all these things, and that is the essential nature. That is the essential, essential nature of a person, of the seeker. So what is my real self? The real self is that, says Sakshi, that witness, say, consciousness, which is able to see or which is able to objectify this body-mind complex. So that is what it is. So that is how they are anatma. The real atma, the self, is that witness consciousness, whereas all other things, they become anatma. So what are they? Deha, aksha, body and the sense organs. So all these things, they have to be, say, that bhava, that particular idea of I and mine in these anatma things have to be removed. So this is that adhyasa. Adhyasa we know. Adhi plus asa. Asa means to be. Adhi means above. Adhyasa, to keep something over the above. So there is something here. I keep something above it and then look at it as a different object. Atasmin tadbuddhihi adhyasaha, Shankaracharya says in that Brahma Sutra in the beginning. Atasmin tadbuddhihi. In something which is not that, you are seeing it as that. Tadbuddhi. In something which is not that. So tad buddhi you are doing on that. So that is, you are superimposing certain ideas on that. You are, say, having your own perception, a wrong understanding. The standard example is that of the snake and the rope. Rope and the snake. There is a rope on which you superimpose a garland, you superimpose a water, say, line, or you superimpose a snake. So there are various types of superimpositions which are possible on a rope. So like that, adhyasoyam nirastavyaha. Nirasa means removal, discarding. Nirastavyaha means it has to be discarded. Tavya pratyam, it has to be discarded. Vidusha means by a vidwan. Vidwan means what? It implies Shravana Manana. Unless you do Shravana Manana, that is not a vidwan. The person who does Shravana Manana, who knows theoretically as to what is the right thing. And once we know this is a process which Vidyaranya explains, that all the three have to simultaneously go together, they have to go together. That is, Shravana Manana has to go together. That is what is called Jnana Abhyasa. It has to go. And then again, Mano Nasha also has to go. That is practice of yoga. And Vasanakshaya, that also has to go on. So all these three have to go together. So that is what he says. So Vidusha, by this Shravana Mananadi, Atmanishtaya. Atmanishtha is that Nididhyasana level. So initially Vidusha, by the word Vidusha, you are visualizing a person who has done Shravana and Manana. Atmanishtha, you are coming to the level of Nididhyasana. Atmanishtha happens only at that level, Nididhyasana level, that is application to oneself. Atmani Nishtha, that is say abiding in that idea that I am that supreme reality. So that is that Atmanishtha. That is not seeing any difference, Abheda Jnana. Then he continues to say, you be a witness to the buddhi vrittis. In the next shloka, he is saying, one has to be a witness to the buddhi vrittis. The buddhi vrittis, they come and go. Chitta vritti, that first sutra of Patanjali says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Under that, the Bhashyakara has said, whatever the commentary has written, this chitta srotaha. Chitta srotaha means it is a stream. This thought process is like a stream. It goes on and on, it continuously, it flows like a stream. So that stream, it has to be stopped. That stream, you be a witness to that. If you are a witness to that for some time, that stream stops. If you are following that stream, you will be flowing along that stream, like going along a stream. If you are just be a witness to all that stream which goes on, the stream also stops slowly. So that is what. Jnatva swam pratyagatmanam buddhi tadvrutti sakshinam sohamityeva sadvrutya anatmanyatmamatim jahi. Sohamityeva sadvrutya anatmanyatmamatim jahi. So if you want to read in one stretch, by taking out the avagraha, that is how we read. Jnatva swam pratyagatmanam. Swam pratyagatmanam jnatva. Having realized yourself as that pratyagatma, that indwelling self, that pratyagatma, then buddhi tadvrutti sakshinam. And what is this pratyagatma? Buddhi tadvrutti. There is this buddhi. You call it mind, manas, whatever it is. Buddhi is, you need not make such fine distinction here, that is manaha. What is that? Samshaya, sankalpa, vikalpatmakam manaha. Then nishchayatmika buddhi. We need not make it here. Buddhi, that is that flow of consciousness, that vritti. Vritti is that thought process which goes on. Buddhi vritti sakshinam jnatva. Pratyagatmanam sakshinam jnatva. That is having realized that this pratyagatma is the witness to all these things. So one has to be in that state. One has to cultivate. So this is basically a practice. Theoretically we are now studying, but this is something which has to be practiced. Buddhi tadvrutti sakshinam jnatva. Then sohamityeva sadvrutya. Saha aham. Who is that saha? That pratyagatma. Pratyagatma, who is that witness consciousness, who is a witness to what all thoughts go on. So that is my real self. Soham, that is that. I am that. Ityeva sadvrutya. For this sadvrutti, Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami says, Akhandakara Vritti. That is Abheda Jnanam. Akhandakara Vritti means, so that is the right Vritti. That is the right Vritti, that is the right particular thought. That is Akhandakara Vritti is that consciousness in which there is no division. That consciousness in which there is no division of this knower known. There is no khanda. Khanda means break. Khanda means a division. Akhanda means there is no division. Akhandakara vritti. I am that consciousness in which there is no bheda. And all these bhedas, they are being witnessed by you. This what all thought process goes on, you are a witness to that. So at that level, with that stage, anatmani atmamatim jahi. In that anatma, in all these anatmas, buddhi vritti is also anatma. Buddhi vritti, we know, buddhi vritti is jada. It is not sentient. It is insentient. Then anatmani atmamatim jahi. Jahi means give up. Give up. You have seen this word in jahal lakshana. Jahat, that is giving up. Jahi means give up, quit, eradicate. So atmamatim jahi. So you give up the idea of self, give up that idea that it is my, I and me. In that anatmani, that say this buddhi vritti, whatever stream goes on and on, to that stream you be a witness. In English there is a nice poem by one poet called W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats, long ago I read that poem. That poem talks about a long-legged fly. You see, in villages, some small streams are there. In any stream, usually, some small stream, there is a long-legged fly. The fly is just stationary. The fly is stationary while the brook flows underneath, while the stream flows underneath. The fly is stationary. So he compares the mind of a thinking man to that. So he, of course, he compares Julius Caesar, and he takes another character called Leda from the Greek mythology. So Julius Caesar, he gives one example. Then he gives the example of Michelangelo, the great painter, who without say having any idea of what was going on around him, his mind was totally concentrating on the picture of Adam which he was portraying. So like that, he gives three images in that particular poem. So the long-legged fly. So like that, you be a witness. So in fact, A.B. Yeats was another poet who was deeply influenced by the Upanishadic philosophy. He was a great friend of Rabindranath Tagore. W.B. Yeats was a great friend of Rabindranath Tagore, and so he was influenced by this Upanishadic philosophy. So but anyway, so this is what this particular shloka says. You have to be a witness to the buddhi vrittis. Then Atmamatim Jahi. The next shloka, this is again very interesting shloka. Lokanuvartanam tyaktva tyaktva dehanuvartanam shastranuvartanam tyaktva swadhyasapanayam kuru. Lokanuvartanam tyaktva. Tyaktva is having rejected, having left. What? Loka anuvartanam. Loka is the world. Anuvartanam is you follow the ways of the world. So this is a very interesting thing. Loka anuvartanam. You have to follow the ways of the world. That is living up to the expectations of the people. The people expect you to do something. People expect you to behave in a particular way. So that is, in fact, I want to be judged as somebody who is very meticulous, a very perfect gentleman. So a very perfect gentleman who follows all the social norms and all that. So that is, in that, I have got a lot of attachment to that. Lokanuvartanam. So suppose there is a dinner, I have to attend that dinner. There is some other function, I have to jolly well attend that function. So if you are a seeker, how can you do all that? So suppose you are a seeker. So some distant niece's marriage is there. Somebody else's, some other function is there. They invite you, they expect you to come. So if you are going there every time and wasting your time, where is the scope for this Brahma? Where is the scope for study? So, Lokanuvartanam. So here, you see, Loka, it is very difficult to be pleased. Very difficult to be pleased. And in fact, there is in this notes, so that Chandrasekhara Bharati, he has given certain notes. Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. Gita says, Tulya Ninda Stutihi Mauni. That is, somebody is saying, okay, this fellow is so proud. He is not even attending even his friend's marriage. He is not attending so and so function. He has not done this, he has not done that, etc., etc. There may be something. But so long as you are a seeker, you are in this particular path, you need not bother for various social obligations, except some essential obligations, of course. Essential obligations, you have to look after your family, that's a different thing. But there are various other things which we can quit. So, but then we don't want to do that. We want to follow the world. Then, in this context, we can also recall what Bhartruhari says. Bhartruhari is, recently we read that shloka, Jadyam Hrimati Ganyate, Vrata Shuchau Dambhaha, Shuchau Kaitavam, etc. We read one shloka. You see, if somebody is rather modest in his approach, modest and then shy rather, then somebody else will say, he is such a dull fellow. He is such a dumb, dull fellow. Jadyam. Jada means dull, dumb person. Hrimati Ganyate. Vrata Shuchau Dambhaha. A person who is very strict about austerities and all that, then the other fellow will say, this fellow is just showing off. You see, this fellow is just showing off. Then Shuchau Kaitavam. A person who is very, very honest. Shuchi. A person who is of impeccable integrity, let us say. So then the other fellow will say, oh, this is all hypocrisy. Kaitavam, it is all hypocrisy. So like that he goes on, Bhartruhari goes on to describe so many things which are actually looked at, these are all virtues. All virtues, they are seen as blemishes by the Durmarga, the person who is on the wrong path. He attributes all his weaknesses to these people. So that is what. So Loka is something which is difficult to be pleased. Then Lokanuvartanam Tyaktva Dehanuvartanam. Dehanuvartanam. So this body, taking extreme care of the body. You have to take care of the body. We have to take care of the health. Now we have to take some reasonable care has to be taken. But if it exceeds a particular limit, that comes under this word dehanuvartanam. Deha yatra matra cheshtaha. That is what Shankaracharya says. Okay, deha yatra matra cheshta you do physically, you have to be physically fit so that you can do this Shravanam also. For doing Shravanam also you have to be slightly physically fit. If you are a person is a very sickly person, not at all bothered about his health, that is ignorance. One has to take care of his health, at the same time concentrate on Shravana Manana. So you have to be strong enough to do Shravana Manana. So if that is so, that is good enough. So tyaktva dehanuvartanam. So anything like bodybuilding, ego aggrandizement, so those things they have to be given up. Then shastranuvartanam tyaktva. Shastranuvartanam, following the shastras. Of course, the next shloka is also elaborating this shastranuvartanam. Shastranuvartanam. One is fond of reading multiple texts. Nowadays we come across all the people who, there is so much of material available on the internet. If we read Gita and Upanishads, that is good enough. But they want to read 100 other texts from 100 other angles. Somewhere some remote text written by some remote writer. So somebody puts a query, where can I get this book? Where can I get this book? They want to be so analytical. What is this man's analysis? What is that man's analysis? And if that is being inquired into from the point of view of getting a clarity, it is okay. But then it is basically for scholasticism. So if it is for scholasticism, it is Shastravasana. Scholasticism is what is Shastravasana. Understanding a thing is different. Understanding a thing, you go to a guru, the guru teaches. If you read Gita and Upanishads, they are good enough. Upanishad Bhashyam is good enough. So, but this Shastranuvartanam is something which is going beyond a particular limit. Shastranuvartanam tyaktva swa adhyasa apanayam kuru. Swadhyasa apanayam kuru. Swasya adhyasasya apanayam kuru. So you get rid of this adhyasa. Because so long as you are doing Lokanuvartanam, you are deeply in adhyasa. That is, you are definitely identifying with your body-mind complex. You are definitely identifying with your social identity. And because of that social identity only, you want to follow, you want to get good certificate from the society, good certificate from all the peers. Then similarly, Dehanuvartanam. That again, that ego is there, that adhyasa is very much there. Shastranuvartanam again, adhyasa is very much there. So I have not read this, some book, somewhere some Nighantu may be there, some other book may be there. So all those things I have to read, so that I can say, yes, I have read it. So that adhyasa is very much there. So the man is no longer a seeker. He is a person who is only building up his ego. So that is why these three things have to be removed. Not that one should not read Shastra. One has to read enough Shastra which helps him in realization. Beyond that, he need not go into all details. Then the next shloka also says, then Jivan Mukti Viveka, again he gives examples for this. Lokavasanaya jantoho shastravasanaya picha dehavasanaya jnanam yathavan naiva jayate. Jnanam yathavat naiva jayate. Yathavat means as it is. That is the truth. The reality does not dawn on a person. Reality does not on a person. So long as there is Lokavasana, so long as there is Shastravasana, so long as there is Dehavasana. That is what this shloka says. Jantoho. Jantu does not mean an animal, person. Anybody who is born is Jantu. Lokavasanaya Jantoho for a person. For an embodied person, let us say, Jantoho. Embodied person is Dehi. Dehi, you can call it embodied person. Jantu means any being, let us say, being. Jantoho. Lokavasanaya, by that Lokavasana, and also Shastravasanaya. And here Vidyaranya, he further analyzes what is Shastravasana. He gives certain examples also there. For example, he calls it Pathya Vyasanam. Then he calls it Shastra Vyasanam. And the third one is Anusthana Vyasanam. It is there in that Chandrasekhara Bharati's commentary. Pathya Vyasanam is, the example is that of Sage Bharadwaja. You know, we have heard the name Sage Bharadwaja. He was a highly learned man. So he had full Ayurdaya, full 100 years. Ayurdaya means the lifespan. lifespan, he had one lifespan. Then he thought it was not adequate for reading all the Vedas, so he requested Indra to give one more lifespan. He got one more lifespan. He studied all the Vedas for 100 more years. Then again he asked for one more lifespan and it was granted. So the third lifespan also he studied the Vedas. For about 300 years he studied the Vedas. Then when he went to Indra again and asked for another 100 years, Indra said, no, you can't read all the Vedas in any number of lifetimes. You follow this Saguna Vidya. So he taught him some Saguna Vidya and then sent him away. So he was there with Saguna Vidya, and probably we have to presume that with that Saguna Vidya he gradually went up to Nirguna level and then he realized it. Then that is Pathya Vyasanam. Shastra Vyasanam. Pathya Vyasanam relates to Veda. Pathya, Veda Patha. Shastra Vyasanam relates to all other Shastras. Various other Shastras like Tarka, Vyakarana, this, that, etc., etc. There the example given is the sage Durvasa. Sage Durvasa was very, very fond of very scholastic, had so much of scholastic learning that he once went to Shiva's place, that is Kailasam. And there some other sages are there, some elderly sages like Narada and so many other, his seniors, Durvasa's seniors are there. So they said, you are like, say, a donkey carrying so much of weight. So there is a word, Bharavahi Gardabhaha. Bharavahi Gardabhaha. That is, Bharavahi means that which is carrying so much of load. Gardabha is a donkey. So you are like a donkey carrying so much of weight on you. So all these Shastras, they are like that. So he got very frustrated. He threw away all the Shastras into the ocean, and then he went to Lord Shiva and asked him to teach Brahmagyana. And Lord Shiva was kind enough to teach Brahmagyana. So that is what is Shastra Vasana. There is another example given of some other character from Yoga Vasishtam, another sage who had this Anusthana Vyasanam. Anusthana Vyasanam, you know. So right from morning till about for 4 or 5 hours, a person keeps on doing, say, this japa, that japa, so many hundreds and hundreds of japas. That is Anusthana Vyasanam. Instead of spending some time on Atma Vichara, a person spends so much of time on mechanical recitation, mechanical performance of certain rituals. So this Anusthana Vyasanam is something which is an obstacle in the path of realization. So these are all actually Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. If you recall that chapter 14th of Gita, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. It binds a person, Sukha Sangena Badhnati, Jnana Sangena Janaka. So Jnana Sangena, so he wants to have this Shastra Vasana, this Vasana, all these things. They are not bad. They are much better than some criminal behavior. So these are all on the right path. But then you are not on the right path means they are good, socially good. But then for a seeker, these are obstacles. You are stuck there at the Shastra Vasana level. You are stuck there at, say, Pathya Vyasanam, some other Vyasanam. So reading so many books, reading, without meditating on the nature of self, without doing Atma Vichara. So, Jnanam Yathavan Naiva Jayate. Yathavat Jnanam Na Jayate. Never Jayate. Then what should a person do? Samsara Karagruha Mokshamichoho Ayomayam Padanibandha Shrunkhalam Vadanti Tajñah Patuvasanatrayam Yosmad Vimuktas Samupaiti Muktim. So this Vasanatrayam is a single word. The triad of Vasanas, the Vasanatrayam, this group of three, this is somewhat like Ayomayam Shrunkhalam. Ayomayam is, in Telugu we use the word Ayomayam to mean confusion. It is not confusion. Ayomayam is, Ayaha is iron. Ayaha is iron. Sanskrit word Ayaha, Ayas and iron, they are cognate words. Ayomayam means something which is ironclad. Something which is ironclad. What is that iron? Ayomayam Padanibandha Shrunkhalam. Shrunkhala in Telugu we call it Sankala. That is shackles. Shrunkhala, shackles which are put on the feet. You see, in olden days, prisoners used to be, the legs used to be shackled. So in iron chains, so that they could not run away. So that sort of Shrunkhala, Padanibandha Shrunkhalam. So it is something which is tied to the feet. Like, and what is this? What is this shrunkhala? Vasanatrayam is that shrunkhala. This threefold vasanas which are there, they are the shrunkhala. They are like the chains which are binding a person. And then, but this man, he wants to escape from this karagruha. He wants to escape from this prison called samsara. This is a prison. Samsara is a prison. That is, he has done some karma, he has come. He will do some karma and again he will come. He will do some other karma, he will again come. So this is somewhat like a prison. He is imprisoned in this thing called samsara. So somebody who is imprisoned in this samsara, karagruha mokshamichoho. Karagruham, you know, karagruha is jail, a prison. Samsara karagruha moksham. Moksham is release from this thing. Ichoho. Ichoho means for a person who is desiring to have that release. Then vadanti tagnaha patu vasanatrayam. This is shrunkhalam vadanti. This shrunkhalam vadanti. That is tagnaha. Tagnaha means brahmavidaha. Tat means brahma. Tat jnaha. Brahmavettalu. Brahmavidaha. That is the people who know Brahman. They say that this vasanatrayam, patu vasanatrayam. Patu means strong. This strong vasanatrayam is somewhat like padanibandha shrunkhalam. This is like the shackles which are tied to a person. Then yo asmad vimuktaha, a person who gets freed from this asmad shrunkhalat vimuktaha. So a person who gets freed from this shrunkhala or this shackle, then samupaiti muktim. Sa upaiti muktim, your book says, it doesn't matter. Sa upaiti muktim. Muktim upaiti. He attains mukti by what? By yathartha jnana. By, you see, by simply vasanatshaya one cannot attain moksha. Vasanatshaya is a process. In addition to vasanatshaya, one should also pursue the tattva jnana. You see, vasanatshaya is a preparatory step. It has to simultaneously go on. But it has to be followed by tattva jnana, atma vichara. So with that atma vichara, samupaiti muktim. Then the next shloka, he gives an example of some sandalwood. The sandalwood, suppose it is says there in water or something like that. So it original says the flavor, the original smell, that sugandha, that fragrance has gone. And say there a lot of moss or something like that is on that. Suppose you remove all that moss by severe rubbing. By severe rubbing, you remove the moss which is there on the sandalwood, which is there immersed in water. Then the fragrance again emerges, re-emerges. So that fragrance is something which is enveloped by this type of moss. So this example, in fact, Shankaracharya gives in Ishavasya Bhashyam, Yatha Chandanagarvadehe Nigharshanena, something like that he says. By rubbing, the odor comes out, re-emerges. So the same thing he has given in a shloka here. Jaladi samsargavashat prabhuta durgandha bhuta garu divyavasana sangharshanenaiva vibhati samyak vidhuyamane sati bahya gandhe. Jaladi samsargavashat. By being in touch or contact with this water. Suppose a log of sandalwood is thrown in water. That log of sandalwood, there is a lot of moss which is accumulated on that. Samsargavashat. Prabhuta durgandha dhuta. Prabhuta means a lot of. Prabhuta is a lot of. Durgandha dhuta, covered by bad odor. It is covered by all bad odor. Then Prabhuta durgandha dhuta agaru divyavasana. It may not be jala adi. You put it somewhere. You put it in some muddy water or some stupid, material. So there, all that durgandha, it accumulates on the surface. Durgandha dhuta. Dhuta means which is covered by all that durgandha. Durgandha is bad odor. Durgandhena dhuta. Durgandhena achhadita. What? Agaru divyavasana. The divya vasana, that divine smell of that sandalwood is, camouflaged or covered by the bad odor of something else. So then, what has to be done? Sangharshanenaiva vibhati samyak vidhuyamane sati bahya gandhe. Bahya gandhe vidhuyamane sati, which means when this external odor has been shaken off, vidhuyamana means that is totally removed. Bahya gandha means that external odor. When that external odor is very effectively removed by proper sangharshana. And what is the sangharshana? Rubbing in the case of an individual. In the case of an individual, it is austerity, tapas, practice of yoga, vasanakshaya on one hand, yoga on the other hand, and then yoga for manonashaya, as I said. And vasanakshaya, say this Shravanadi. Shravanadi is responsible for Vasana, is the remedy for Vasanakshaya. And then Atma Vichara, that Shravana, it is to continuously go on with these two things. So Sangharshanena iva vibhati samyak. Vibhati. Vibhati means it shines. It shines means what? That original smell re-emerges. That original flavor re-emerges. So that means that Sangharshana here refers to this Atma Vichara, then Atma Sanyama Yoga, Vasanakshaya, all the practices relating to Manonashaya and Vasanakshaya, we have to take, we have to apply here. Then, next shloka is about Antashritananta. Yeah, and the next shloka is also similar, something to do with this smell only. Vidhuyamane sati bahyagandhe. Bahyagandhe vidhuyamane sati. Sati saptami. Bahyagandha, that is external odor. External odor. Vidhuyamana, that is avadhuta, you know. Avadhuta, a person who has shaken off all the things. So this vidhuyamana is also same thing. That is, all the thing is driven away. Vidhuyamane, when that vidhuyamane sati, this is sati saptami. When this bahyagandha is totally eradicated, it is totally shaken off, it is driven away. Whatever is superimposed is totally taken away. Bahyagandha is something like all our superimposed ideas. This adhyasa, whatever is adhyasta, whatever has been superimposed, that has been removed. So at that time, the actual divya vasana emerges. So similarly, this Atma Chintanam, this Atma Jnanam emerges, re-emerges. Once this idea of I and mine goes away, then you identify with that real self. That identification with the real self re-emerges. Then Antashritananta Duranta Vasana Dhuli Vilipta Paramatma Vasana. Again he is talking about Paramatma Vasana. Prajnati Sangharshanato Vishuddha Pratiyate Chandanagandhavat Sputam. Your book says Sputa. Sputa seems to be more appropriate. Vishuddha, Sputa. So Vishuddha is all in feminine. So Antashrita, it is not grammatically incorrect here also, but you have to do different, say, Anvaya. So Antashritananta Duranta Vasana Antaha Shrita, that is dwelling within. Antaha Ashrita. Antaha is inside. Shrita means Ashrita, that is dwelling. Dwelling inside, dwelling within. What? Ananta Duranta Vasana. Ananta means endless. Duranta. Duranta means Dukkha Antaha Yasya. Dukkham Antaha Yasya. That is Dukkha Antaha Yasya. That is Duranta. That is what? That which is giving a bad result. Duranta Vasana. These Vasanas are basically giving bad results. What is that bad result? Vasana will produce another birth. So that is how it is Duranta. Duranta. Anta means end. Duranta means bad end. Okay. Simple translation is bad end. Duranta Vasana. That is these Vasanas which give that bad end or bad result. So that is, this is like a dhuli. Dhuli means dust. Dhuli vilipta. Vilipta means totally covered, totally achhadita. Dhuli vilipta Paramatma Vasana. This Paramatma Vasana, what is this Paramatma Vasana? That is in the earlier shloka he was talking about Agaru Divya Vasana. He is now talking about Paramatma Vasana. That is Brahmakara Vritti, let us say. This Brahmakara Vritti or Akhandakara Vritti. We have heard about the term Brahmakara Vritti, isn't it? Brahmakara Vritti is something which is attained by Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. And finally that Brahmakara Vritti also disappears. We have heard about two terms called Vritti Vyapyatvam and Phala Vyapyatvam. All this Shastra Jnanam, all this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, it leads up to that Brahmakara Vritti. And finally, that Vritti also drops away. So a person remains as supreme consciousness. So that is what it says. There is no Phala Vyapyatvam. So in the case of any other object, there is Vritti Vyapyam and Phala Vyapyam. But in the case of Brahman, there is only Vritti Vyapyam and not Phalavyapyatvam. So that is what that shloka is also from, say from the same sage Vidyaranya from Panchadashi. So, Antashrita Ananta Duranta Vasana Dhuli Vilipta. So, this Paramatma Vasana or this Brahmakara Vritti is something which is totally, say, not submerged, it is totally subdued or rather totally covered by this, say, Lokavasana, Shastravasana, etc., which are basically intended or rather which are basically designed to give a bad result. Bad result means another birth. All these things are, all these vasanas are indwelling and then endless. These endless vasanas which are indwelling in us and which are going to give bad result, they can be removed only by Niharshana. The third line says, Niharshanena, Prajnati Sangharshanataha. That is, Sangharshanataha. Sangharshanataha is Panchami Vibhakti. By that Sangharshana, by this intense Atma Vichara, Prajnati Sangharshana. Prajnanam is what? Prajnanam, for the Prajnanam also, Chandrasekhara Bharati has given this expression, Nirvikalpa Chinmatra Vrittihi, he says. Nirvikalpa Chinmatra Vrittihi. That is, where this Brahmakara Vritti is that Pragyati. So he has theoretically acquired that knowledge. So whatever knowledge he has theoretically acquired, that is that Sangharshana. And in that he has to very strongly abide by not getting disturbed by other vasanas. Prajnati Sangharshanato. Sangharshanato means Sangharshanataha. Vishuddha pratiyate. Chandana gandhavat sputam pratiyate. Or athava sputa pratiyate. What sputa? When you say sputa, Paramatma vasana sputa pratiyate, we should say. Or otherwise you can simply say sputam pratiyate. So Chandana gandhavat sputa. Sputa seems to be a better anvaya because it is referring directly to say Paramatma vasana. So we will continue in the next class. So this is all about this eradication of these vasanas. So we will continue in the next class. Harihi Om Tat Sat.